Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening based on where you are joining us from today. My name is Shatanshu and I am a co-presenter for the session today. You're all welcome to OptiStellar. With me, you also have Pallavi. She's a co-presenter and a colleague of mine. So I have a total of around 10 years of experience in digital marketing, and I will be your auto apply expert today. Pallavi, do you quickly want to introduce yourself?
Sure, Shatanshu. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Pallavi, your immediate POC today at the hour of need. While having a good experience in Google Ads from a long time now and coming from an agency background, I do understand the challenges that you all face while working on the ads interface. And that's where me and Shatanshu would make sure we would mediate your expectations with our services. Now, before I start with the presentation, I would like to bring up what some of you are most excited about. That is the Google Swag. Engage with us through this live stream over the next hour. Ask us questions, give product feedback. Prizes will go to the folks who both engage during the session and also fill out the feedback form via the form link, which is here right on the screen in the form of a QR code. Now, this form is very important, so please use the QR code or the link in the chat to fill out the form with a very and also make sure you fill your valid CID and email address. In order to quantify for anything you see here on the screen, we will need both of these things to make sure that we get in touch with you based on how you had been reverting us back in terms of the entire engagement of the program and how you've liked the program overall. Now, moving ahead, we have the agenda, a very brief one. We will start by explaining what OptiScore is, how you can actually use it to improve your campaign performance, what are the different features of OptiScore, and we'll also try to answer some of the frequently asked questions that we have heard from most of the agencies and advertisers. Then Shatanshu will talk about the auto apply recommendations and also provide a sneak peek of different things that we have recently launched or about to launch in both of these features. Now, now let's talk about what a partnership typically looks like in the digital landscape. The relation here stands between a marketer and artificial intelligence. So, while marketers define their business, in order to define their message and dictate strategy, intelligence enables real time marketing by considering millions of signal combinations. Now, what are these signal combinations? All the multiple touch points where a user interacts or is intended to interact based on his online past behavior are the signal combinations. Now, let's say, for example, you are looking for a white pair of shoes and you're hovering around certain sport articles, that is a certain sport article, and you are also a fitness enthusiast following eminent personalities on social media, visiting certain news channels, and also have shortlisted a pair of shoes and added to your cart, etc. Now, all of these combined together are the multiple signals which AI identifies based on the user interaction with the web. You as a marketer has to juggle between multiple activities, typically on a day-to-day business, in order to derive efficient results from your campaigns. You are involved in planning and working through strategic decisions, implementing the plans in terms of building and managing the campaigns at scale, and then optimizing those campaigns to get the best ROI possible. Sometimes also managing multiple business lines, reporting performances to meet the business KPIs that we have set, and also troubleshooting when there are any issues that you face. So, this entire process of planning, implementing, optimizing, reporting, and troubleshooting is quite time sensitive. And balancing between all of them is quite a tricky job. It's certainly a balancing act of any marketer who is looking to scale real time insights to deliver meaningful and effective interactions with the customers to determine which actions and activities will have the most possible impact for business growth while managing multiple business lines at scale. Now, Partnering human input with automation is quite critical, right? So, providing human input on the interface reported a growth of around 15% on the campaign performance that you can see on the screen, and technology alone reported around 20% growth overall. Now, both these mechanisms combined together reported a 35% growth on the overall campaign performance, which definitely is much greater than the growth that we observed while using any one of these mechanisms. A typical day for an agency account manager includes implementing hygiene operations, managing account and campaign bids and budgets, working towards optimization and strategic planning and initiation, right? So, hygiene operations include identifying potential keywords, having higher search volume, developing relevant ad creatives for higher CTRs, and optimizing the account structure for strong performance. Under bids and budget optimizations, there are certain recommendations that are made based on your account and campaign goals for higher click through rate and also optimize account performance for a strong performance. The first two operations fall under the first bucket that serves the purpose of automation itself. Implementing these two tasks will give you ample time to focus towards the last two operations that fall under the second bucket, that is the advanced optimization and strategic initiative. Now, both of these usually require more time and attention in comparison to the first two operations that we discussed in the previous slide. These two operations are the core aspects that can be backed by hygiene operations and the bid and budget optimizations at later stages. Spending ample time towards both these areas will overall strengthen your performance. You run tests and experiments, create reports to develop insights, and also discuss new opportunities with the client under the advanced optimization part. You also design forward thinking strategies, build and present compelling narratives to inspire your clients to explore more and explore new investment opportunities, thereby exceeding goals under most of the strategic initiative parts. Now, here we talk about the importance of OptiScore recommendation adoption. In order to maximize conversion and stay ahead of the modern challenges, it is always advisable to adopt these recommendations while keeping a very close tab on the performance simultaneously. The artificial intelligence algorithm understands a user behavior by tracking multiple signals through which they usually interact. And based on this analysis, they suggest optimal channels and activities to drive more value to your business. This, in a way, will help you to be more efficient and you can execute all of these recommendations at a large scale by automating few of your manual tasks. Now, there are various methods in how you can actually implement these recommendations onto your account. You can use Google Ads Editor. You can also use Google Ads Script, GA API to apply both individually and on scale for small and large accounts. To save time, you can also implement the recommendation through AAR for repetitive recommendations, which Shatanshu will be highlighting in the upcoming slides, and also do this via the apply feature for MCC accounts. Moving ahead, you can find an overview of the broad range of recommendations that OptiScore recommendation covers across bidding and budgets, ads and extensions, keywords and targeting, repairs, and automated campaigns. Now, different campaigns have different marketing objectives, and that are the key to fuel performance through automated solutions. Let's say, for example, one account can have multiple objectives like being stringent on spends and meeting targets, enabling enhanced conversions for better understanding of consumer journey, etc. One advice that we give to all the advertisers today is to always experiment before implementing. If you want to opt into a certain experiment today, make sure you are analyzing its impact for the next 15 days to a month and then take a call on whether or not you want to opt into these experiments on other campaign or accounts. Now, these experiments can help you understand whether the proposed changes will reach your marketing objectives or not. These experiments are quite easy to implement simply by clicking on the Create Experiment button, and these changes can be reverted back if required as well. Currently, this feature is only available for both broad match and target ROAS recommendation. Our team is actively working in the backend to bring additional features over time. Now, next, like I mentioned in the agenda for today, we are going to talk about few of the frequently asked questions that we have heard from most of our clients. Here we have a very common myth that talks about the fact that once you dismiss a recommendation, it's gone forever. That's not so. Once you dismiss a recommendation, it will automatically be repopulated within a few weeks. That is because there is a list of recommendations that that pop up once you're actually dismissing the specific recommendation, right? You will have multiple options as to why you want to dismiss that recommendation, and that is exactly what I'm going to discuss in the next slide here, right? So when you usually see the option, when you see the placard of whether why you want to dismiss the recommendation, feedback is very very necessary. Here the common myth again says that feedback is pointless when dismissing these recommendations, but that's not so. If you give a very valid feedback to the recommendation to this recommendation placard, you will see that that specific recommendation will not be repopulated in the future. But still, if the algorithm understands that there is still scope of improving that specific metrics, or if there is still scope to see that you can optimize on a specific area, the recommendation will again pop up. But regardless of that, you providing a feedback will automatically go to the product feedback team, and they will consider all of these feedbacks and try to provide the best possible product to you in a more developed manner. So with that, I would like to pass it on over to Shatanshu, talk about the specific plan and the specific auto apply recommendations part. And before that, before he gets on to the auto apply recommendations part, I request each of y'all to quickly scan this QR code, share your CIDs and email ID, share your feedbacks, your queries, or any questions. We will be very happy to take up each one of them. So yeah, over to you, Shatanshu.
Thanks, Pallavi. Thank you so much. And I just want to reiterate the fact that hey, there are things to be won as a result of being engaging with us. And if you look at the comment section, also there is a possibility that you can live chat with us today. So if you have any questions, if you have any queries that you want to share with us, if you have any product feedback, you can either scan the QR code on the right side of screen, or you can simply type in your feedback in the chat, and we'll take those feedback directly to the product team that ends up making changes to the product. Right, so that's one. You also stand a chance to meet the PMs. When I say PMs, I'm talking about product managers. So there is a community of product managers, and you stand a chance to meet them in person, or at least in live event if you're not in the same geography. So that option is also there. You also stand a chance, and you will in fact be invited to join our PE community. So there is a product expert community that Google Ads runs, and if you're interested to be part of it, and if you share good insights with us, we will invite you to be part of that product expert community. And there are obviously possibilities are endless in PE community. You also will be able to stand a chance to win Google Swag. So that's another option to win. So if you engage with us in our live session, you also ask us questions and provide us feedback on product in the session. You will get there'll be a possibility of you winning Google Swags as well. So those are few things that you can stand a chance to win. So just wanted to call that out again. All right. Now, before I get into auto apply recommendation, I really want to talk about how a campaign or a Google Ads account used to be optimized 5 or 10 years down the line, right? So I'm sure a lot of you must be in industry for quite some time now. And if you remember around 5 or 6 years ago, if you had to optimize your Google Ads campaigns, it used to be a manual process, to say the least, right? You have to go to each and every campaign. You have to look at all the key metrics that you're tracking for those campaigns, and identify the possible areas of improvement, and then find those opportunities manually. And it was, to say the least, a very tiring process and a very time consuming process to find those opportunities. Now, what we at Google try to do with optimization score and recommendations is we said, hey, what if we give you a snippet of all those opportunities under one tree, right? So what if all the opportunities, all the possibilities of improvement across all the campaigns under one account can be brought under one tab, and you can simply click on that tab, and that gives you all the opportunities. Not just that, those opportunities will also be listed in a way that the most impactful recommendations or the most impactful opportunities will be listed at top, and that's how recommendations came into existence. So we check over 100 plus different levers, and we see if your campaigns are following those 100 plus levers or best practices of Google Ads or not. Right, and if your campaigns, if there's any campaign under your ad account that is not following those best practices, those are highlighted as an opportunity to improve. Now, as I think Pallavi did a great job of explaining that these recommendations are personalized based on your account input, your campaign input, and also the objectives that you have for your campaign. So each and every campaign will have different set of recommendations, right? An example that I used to give, and then I'd really love this example is, say, if you're working for an account and you have two different campaigns, within that account you have two different campaign. One of the campaign has a objective to get, say, impression share, right? So you're looking to get high impression share for that campaign because it has branded terms, and the other campaign in that account is primarily focused on, say, for example, lead gen, right? And your primary focus for that campaign is to generate lead. Now the recommendations that will be surfaced for these two campaigns, even if everything else is kept as same, will be entirely different, and there'll be a drastically different set of recommendations for these two campaigns because they are focused on different marketing objective. And the system and Google Ads system is able to understand the motive and opportunities of improvement based on those objectives that you have for those two campaigns, and hence recommendations are personalized and generated. So that was our first step to help you find a more efficient way of managing your campaign and optimizing your campaign, and allowing you and freeing up some time that you can use on other strategic initiatives, probably planning your next campaign or probably planning launch of a new product for your client or for your business, and also probably planning expansion to a new geography. So all those strategic initiatives which needs your input, which needs you to work upon. So you can focus on all those strategic initiatives with the time that you save now by applying those recommendations directly from recommendation tab and not having to go to each and every campaign to find those opportunities. Right, so that's where the recommendations came into existence. Okay, after that, we heard a lot of feedback from our advertising and agency partners, and they said, hey, you know what, it's good that we have these recommendations. I can go ahead and apply them manually. But is it not possible that we can automate some of those recommendations? Because I apply these recommendations frequently. For example, if there is a possibility that I can improve my, say, RSA, right? And those recommendations will surface in my account. However, I'll have to manually go and apply them, which takes obviously time. And I'll only be able to see those recommendations once I log into my account. What if, as soon as those recommendations appear, they can automatically be applied to my account and all the respective campaigns? And that's where auto apply recommendations came into existence. Now, what auto apply recommendation does is it allows you to automatically apply a subset of those recommendations that you have to manually apply otherwise. Okay, if I rephrase it, so as I said, the efficient way of optimizing your campaign that we come up with, or that we came up with, in fact, was through recommendations tab. So you go to recommendation tab, you see those 120 plus types of recommendations surface for your account based on how optimized your account is. If your account is already very optimized, you will see lesser number of recommendations. But if there is more opportunity, you can see higher volume and higher number of recommendations as well. And they can be, as I said, as many as 120 plus recommendations. Now, a handful of those recommendations, and to be very precise, 23 of those 120 plus recommendations are eligible for auto apply. Remember, auto apply is a subset of those recommendations that you have to manually apply, right? So auto apply, whenever you want to automatically apply a subset of those recommendations, those can be automated. Consider this to be a classic case of a pilot trying to fly a jet at an altitude, right? So for example, if there is a pilot who is flying, say a flight, right, at a particular altitude, after you achieve a particular altitude and you are comfortable that some of the settings can be put on autopilot, the pilot may go ahead and put some of the settings in the flight on autopilot, right? But the pilot is still in control, and wherever they want, they can opt out and they can come out from the autopilot mode for those settings as well. And that's precisely what auto apply does. Now, auto apply helps you automatically get the most of your Google ads, because it's obviously applying those recommendations automatically to your campaigns. Now, there are some benefits that you get, and one of them is very obvious, which is, since this is saving time, since this is automatically applying recommendations to your campaign, you get to spend your time more wisely. And I think I did give you a couple of examples and a couple of cases where you need to spend your time, whether that is to rephrase your messaging, or whether that is to create reports for your client, or preparing for a summit, or probably planning to expand your product coverage and campaign coverage to new geographies. So all those wisely initiatives, strategic initiatives, which needs your intervention, you can focus on all that by the time that you have saved and utilizing it, right? Now, the other benefit that you get is some of these auto-apply recommendation also helps you capture those existing demand that your current account and campaign setting may not be able to capture. For example, you are running a campaign and you have in scope, and say, for example, your daily budget that you have set is $500. But due to the constraint and due to the targeting that you have in your campaign, you're only able to utilize, say, $100 on an average in a day. So that means you're left out with a lot of budget, and there's a lot of opportunity on the table as well, because your current set of keywords is not allowing you to spend more than $100 in a day. Now, when you use some of these auto-apply recommendation, it will automatically identify such opportunities, add them in your campaign, and will help you capture those existing demand which you might not be capturing with your current account and campaign setting, right? So that's another benefit that you get with the auto apply in your accounts. Now, the third benefit that you get is that some of these recommendations are there to drive growth opportunities as well. And these are opportunities that helps you scale your business and improve overall return on your ad spend, with the opportunities to improve, for example, our ROAS, drive more sales, and also increase the volume of leads that are being generated for your business. So growth opportunities can also be tapped on and incurred with the help of auto apply recommendations. Okay. Now, as an agency, you may ask, so those are the benefits that any advertiser will get, but what benefits does agencies get, right? What can automatically apply recommendation do for an agency? If you are someone who manages an agency, or if you're someone who's working for an agency, and you're not sure how auto apply can help you generate your probably generate higher volume, or probably get business benefit for your business, we'll talk about those on this slide, right? One, it helps you scale best practices. So for example, if you're an agency manager and you have probably, say, 20 or 25 different accounts, or probably 100 plus customers that you're working with, now all those customers need improvement in best practice adoption, which means if you have accounts that needs improvement in best practice adoption, you either have to do it manually, which is you go to each and every account, you go to each and every campaign and ensure that you're following best practices. For example, one of the best practices is that you should have good plus RSA across all your account and across all your campaigns, right? Now, if that's the case, and you want to improve adoption of that best practice, either you can manually go to each and every account, each and every campaign, and ensure that your RSAs have good plus ad strength. And if not, then add additional headlines and descriptions to them. Or alternatively, you can choose auto apply for add responsive search ad and improve responsive search ad. When you do that, all the RSAs across all the accounts and campaigns will automatically be improved, and your adoption of good plus RSA will be continued across your campaigns and across your account. So that's one benefit that you get, which is you can scale best practices at account and at MCC level as well, because auto apply can be applied at MCC level as well. And the other benefit that your agencies get is that you improve your performance. Obviously, since you're adopting, and a lot of agencies, and specifically small scale agencies, may have limitations in terms of how many resources you have to manage a great volume of accounts. Right. So, and you're looking for improving performance, and it's not feasible that everyone logs into all the accounts every now and then and find those opportunities. But if you opt into auto apply, as I said on the previous slide, one of the benefit of auto apply is that you are able to capture existing demand, you're able to capture and you're able to drive growth opportunities as well. With those opportunities and with those things in place, you are able to improve performance of your campaigns as well. So that's another benefit that you get. And once you have improved performance, the retention of your clients also improves. So churn rate can actually be reduced, and agencies have successfully been able to reduce their client churn rate by a significant margin with the help of auto apply recommendation. And then you also boost efficiency. Obviously, at the core of auto apply is nothing but efficiency. So if you opt into auto apply recommendation, you are now efficiently managing your campaign, and you're able to manage those campaigns and optimize the campaigns without having to put a lot of manual effort into it. So those are the benefits that agencies can drive with the auto apply recommendation. What I'll do now is I'll take up a couple of questions. I see there is a question from BWT UK Limited. It says auto apply is cool, but when the suggestions are mostly about increasing my budget, I find that not helping as much I would have loved to see. Okay, so I hear you. Here's the thing. As I said, there are 120 plus recommendations, and some of those are definitely related to budget. Now, budget recommendations only surfaces if your campaigns are missing out at least 5% or more of prospect traffics, right? So for example, if your campaigns are consistently missing out 5% or above traffic in a week, then only this recommendation surface. And I'll give you better. In fact, auto apply will not suggest or will not make any changes to your budget recommendation. So auto apply does not support budget increase. It does not support budget decrease. It does not support budget reshuffle from one campaign to other. So any budget related recommendation is not supported through auto apply. You'll still continue to see budget recommendation in your recommendation tab. However, those will not be automatically applied. You have to apply them manually. Otherwise, those will stay there in your dashboard. So for example, and this I'll also try to preemptly answer one of the questions that we get as a follow-up, which is, hey, one of my client have their campaigns limited by budget, but the client is not willing to increase budget, right? They not at least not for now, not for next 3 months at least. So what should we do? Now, there are multiple ways to deal about it, right? So if you see a recommendation that suggests you to increase budget of a campaign, and you're sure that you can't increase the budget because the client is not aligned or the client does not want to increase budget as of now, the alternatives that you can take is, one, you can probably go ahead and have a narrowed down approach towards your targeting. So you can look at the list of keywords that you're targeting. You can look at the search query report. You can find out those search query or keywords which is not resulting in conversions, if that's one of the objectives of the campaign, and reduce such keywords. So those are alternatives that you can take, right? You don't always have to apply recommendation as it surfaces in your account. Consider those recommendations as a gap analysis as well. It helps you identify those opportunities, and then you can find alternate ways of solving for it, right? So BWT UK Limited, I hope that answers your questions. One, budget recommendations will not be supported through auto apply. Two, budget recommendations will surface in your recommendation tab if the campaigns have minimum of 5% traffic being lost because of being limited by budget. However, there are multiple ways to act upon it. If you don't necessarily have your client's alignment on increasing budget, you can take other corrective actions, as I suggested, either to have more narrowed targeting in your campaign, or probably using shared budget, or probably shifting budget from one of the campaign which is mostly underpaced to this campaign which is lacking budget or fund on daily basis. So those are alternatives that you can take in order to take care of this recommendation in your account. I also see a question on ads on air. The question is, for me, I get a lot of unwanted things with AR broad match keywords. It takes me more time to set up negative list than to keep using phrase and exact match. Okay, so I think Eric, thanks for asking this question and thanks for sharing this feedback. This is definitely a feedback for our team. And this also, let me quickly put this query here on YouTube live stream as well, so that I can surface this for everyone to see. This is Eric's question, right? Eric shares that, hey, for me, I get a lot of unwanted things with AR auto broad match keywords. It takes me more time to set up negative list than to keep using phrase and exact. So what Eric is referring to is that when you opt into broad match, and broad match can be opted through auto apply recommendation as well. So what he's saying is, when he opts into broad match keyword through auto apply recommendation, you obviously have to monitor his negative list very closely in order to ensure that he's not getting any unwanted traffic to his campaigns, right? So what his saying is that if the time he spends on managing that negative list, because the broad match apparently is driving a lot of irrelevant traffic or unwanted traffic, is a lot, right? And he thinks in that case it's better that he uses phrase or exact match. Now, Eric, one of the solution to deal with it is that you use smart bidding whenever you are clubbing broad match in your campaign. So if you're using broad match for your campaign, make sure that you also have smart bidding enabled for those campaigns. When I say smart bidding, I'm talking about any of the conversion based bidding or value based bidding, which is you either use target CPA, target ROAS with your campaigns, and ensure that there is a target set for your campaigns. And if not target, at least make sure that you're using maximize conversion or maximize conversion value bidding strategy. That way, you give Google an ad system a signal that, hey, I need specific kind of traffic that generates business objective for me. And in those cases, broad match turns out to be working better as compared to clubbing broad match with a manual bidding strategy. So I hope you're doing that. And if yes, this will definitely work better for you. So ensure that you're clubbing broad match with smart bidding, and also ensure that you consistently maintain a high quality ad strength of your RSAs. That will also help you ensure that the quality of traffic and the cost that you spend on traffic is significantly low. There's another question that I'll take before I go to the next slide. This is again from BWT UK Limited. This says, will reducing my targeted keyword, that is from 50 to most prominent 20 keywords, help resolve the limited by budget issue? So that's what I'm saying, BWT, right? So see, you don't necessarily have to reduce the keyword only. There are multiple alternative ways. Obviously, the recommended way is that you increase your budget by the suggested amount, right? So if you're running, say, $100 a day, and the suggested budget is, say, $110 or $120 or pounds, it's better to adopt into that one. But, and as I said, I can understand, and we at Google can understand that there can be constraints in which you can't really increase budget. In those cases, the next alternative method that I'll suggest is the use of shared budget or moving budget from one campaign to other, or the unused budget probably from other campaigns to this campaign. If that is also not a possibility, then in third case, you can definitely try to slim down the list of your keywords and remove any such keyword which is not performing at par with your average, right? So if you have a list of 50 keywords, reducing it from 50 to 20, definitely not what we suggest you to do, but do it gradually, right? So I'll look out for five of such keywords which is not generating conversions, even though it contributes to traffic to your website, right? And if there are such keywords, remove them first, observe over a few days, and if that is still not solving for it, then probably go ahead and find more 3 to 5 keywords, but not definitely as drastic as bringing it down from 50 keywords 50 keywords in an ad group to 20 keywords in an ad group. But yeah, you can start reducing from 50 to 45 and see how that is working, and then see if you need to reduce number of keywords even further. But I think that will solve for it as well. I'll repeat, as I said, the recommended method, however, is the one that is suggested, which is if there is a possibility of increase budget those campaigns, because those recommendations are surfaced there. only in those cases when there is a possibility that your campaign is losing out at least 5% of traffic, intended traffic on day-to-day basis. All right. I hope that answers your questions. If there's any follow-up question, anyone, please feel free to use this space. And again, thanks Eric and thanks BWT UK Limited for asking those wonderful questions. I'm sure this will be helpful for others on the call as well. Right. Now, one of the question and one thing that we want to make very clear is that all these recommendations and how those recommendations works, at the core of it is Google's AI, right? So Google is able to use its machine learning and generate those recommendations, apply those recommendations in your campaign with the help of Google AI. Now, one of the questions that we get from agencies is, hey, why should we care about AI? Is it too early to think about AI? Do we really need to worry about AI? Do we really need to understand how to use AI to our advantage? And our answer in short is yes. And in long, if you ask me, there are few reasons why you should care about AI. Now, one, there's obviously a commercial impact of it, which is AI is able to drive better performance, right? And that will get your clients to hit their goals more aggressively, right? So if you're working for 10 clients and you're not using AI, you may be able to reach your target, but you're not exceeding your target probably, and you're not consistently meeting those targets. But with the help of Google's AI-based technology, and specifically if I talk about auto-apply recommendations and recommendations, you're able to hit those targets more frequently. And when you do that, your clients are more satisfied. And in turn, they generate or they spend more on your business, and they're able to generate and they're able to give you more commercial value in the future. So that's obviously, that's a very obvious, and that's the first and foremost advantage and the reason why you must, as an agency, be considering use of AI across your businesses. The next is market perception. Now, obviously, AI is something which is being adopted, and mostly brands, around 93% of brands, see it as a valuable or critical for their agency partner to embed a range of MarTech over the next 3 years. So almost all of your customers and your clients are actually looking forward to see their agencies being able to use MarTech in their strategy, right? So you having adopted into it sets a good market perception that, hey, so-and-so agency is a leader and they have been able to adopt into AI. They're using AI to their advantage. That's another reasoning to have a proper market perception about your agency. The next one is be better prepared for what's next. Now, it's undeniable that AI is definitely here to stay. It's definitely going to influence how campaigns works, how campaigns optimize. So it's better that you start preparing for what is coming next and you start working on it now and now itself. Now, also, as I said earlier in the commercial impact analysis, there is going to be higher client satisfaction when you start using AI and start hitting their targets more frequently, and hence your retention of client will also improve, and so the retention of employee, because you now will have focus on career development, and your agents, your account managers, your marketing team will be learning AI along with the team and the agency itself, and hence the employee retention can also be improved. So those are all the benefits that agencies get by adopting into AI. Now, I think I've already explained this, but automatically implement recommendations with auto apply, and the navigation to it is straightforward. You go to your recommendation tab in your Google Ads account. On the top right corner, you see a magnifying lens there, which says auto apply. So that auto apply button appears in the top right corner of your Google Ads recommendation tab. You click on it, and that brings a list of all those recommendations that are currently available for auto apply. Right now, what I'll suggest you all to do is, if you're sitting on your laptop or on a PC or on a MacBook, go ahead, open a new tab, go to ads.google.com, go to your account, go to recommendations, and click on auto apply, and check the list of 23 recommendations that are currently available for auto apply. And see if you have opted into any of them. I know some of you have commented that you already use auto apply recommendations. So look at the list of auto apply that you have currently opted in. If there's anything new that you want to opt into, for those who haven't opted in, start looking for those opportunities. Identifying those opportunities will help you understand what kind of recommendations to opt into in the coming slides. And be with us and follow the steps that we suggest in the next few screens, right, or in the next few slides. Now, the obvious question that you will have is, how can I automate and how to choose what to automate, right? Your question would be, how do I know what to automate? And that's where we come handy, and that's what we'll cover in the next few slides. Now, if you go to auto apply, and if you're now if you have now opened ads.google.com and gone to recommendations tab and auto apply, you will notice that there are two buckets of recommendation. The first one is maintain your ads, and the next bucket is grow your business. In maintain your ads, you'll have 9 recommendations. Under grow your business, you'll have 14 different recommendations. Now, they are bucketed in those two buckets for a reason. Now, maintain your ads, as the name suggests, are hygiene recommendations that helps you drive efficiency in your campaign management, right? So they are there to take care of all the hygienes of a campaign, Google Ads account and campaign management. For example, you have remove non-serving keywords. So removing any keyword which has not served your ad in last 13 months of time. So obviously that's there just to improve the efficiency of your ad group management. Then you have remove conflicting negative keywords. There's keyword deduping, optimize ad rotation, and so on and so forth. Now, if you are someone who has never used auto apply recommendation, this would be bucket to start with, right? So if you're someone who has not used auto apply, go ahead, adopt into some of these recommendations under maintain your ads bucket, and click save and watch over next few days if these recommendations are helping you improve your campaign performance or not, right? The next bucket is grow your business. Those are more strategic in nature. They are there to drive growth. And if you notice, and if you look at the list of recommendation under grow your business, those are mostly either around targeting or budget, or rather bidding strategy for your campaign. So you have target CPA opt-in, you have target ROAS opt-in, there's target impression share, maximize conversion, maximize clicks. So all those bidding recommendations are part of grow your business recommendation, and they are there to drive efficiency or drive strategic growth opportunities for your campaign. Now, what happens when you opt into first bucket of recommendation? Maintain your recommendation. Now, obviously, it saves time. It also helps you improve best practice adoption across the campaign. As you can see, maintain your ads recommendations are hygienic in nature, so they are there to drive efficiency, and they are very closely matched with the best practices that are suggested by Google for Google Ads account. So if you opt into maintain your ads, what you're doing is you're able to follow the best practices of Google Ads across all the accounts. And since you're able to improve efficiency, in return, you get impact improvement as well, which means the campaign performance will also improve. Similarly, if I talk about grow your business recommendation, this one, since these are mostly bidding recommendation, they are primarily focused on profitability. So if you opt into them, they're able to drive profitability to your business. It also helps you capture opportunities more efficiently with the help of smart bidding, with the help of coverage recommendations. You're able to drive and capture opportunities more efficiently. And since you're driving and since you're opting into growth-related recommendations, you also see impact in terms of improvement in your campaign performance. All right. What we'll do in the next few slides is we'll talk about different marketing objectives and what set of recommendation is a good fit for those marketing objectives. Now on this slide, we'll talk about lead gen as a marketing objective. So if generating lead is the primary marketing objective in your in a particular account that you manage, the list of recommendation that will be best fit for you is listed down here. Now understand, maintain your ads recommendation are hygienic in nature. They are there for efficiency. So it is almost universal. You can opt into any of the maintain your ads recommendation, irrespective of the marketing objective for your account and for your campaigns. Now, if I look at the second bucket, however, which is grow your business, since in this case, your objective is to generate leads. You see the set of recommendations that are suggested to opt into are mostly related to CPA and conversion and not the conversion value. Since you're generating leads, you may not have dynamic value for your lead forms, right? In some of the cases you may, but in most of the cases, the conversion actions will not have a value. And even if it has a value, those values will mostly be same across all the leads. And hence, if you look at the list of recommendations, these are target CPA opt-ins, you have maximize conversion, set CPA target, adjust CPA target, and so on and so forth. Now, if I look at the second marketing objective, that is grow online or offline sales, the set of recommendations significantly changes in second bucket, which is grow your business. Now, instead of maximize conversion, most of the recommended auto apply recommendations in this case is around conversion value. So you have maximize conversion value opt-in, this target ROAS opt-in, you have set ROAS target. Excuse me. Yeah. So most of the recommendations in this case is around conversion value, and then you have add keywords and add broad match keywords as additional recommendations under coverage and targeting. So that's a significant difference between what kind of recommendations or auto apply recommendation we suggest you to opt into based on the marketing objective that you are working upon. Now, how do you identify the strategic recommendations that are best for you? Now, as I said earlier, I think for one of the questions when we were talking about broad match generating traffic, which may in some of the cases not be of the utmost quality. Now, what works really well in those cases is clubbing them with smart bidding recommendations. So whenever you adopt into any keyword or coverage recommendation, make sure that you're clubbing it with smart bidding recommendation. And that's what we try to say on this slide. So if you're, say, for example, if you're opting into broad match or if you're opting into add new keywords, right? When you opt into those recommendations, you need a safety net. Now, smart bidding works as a safety net for your broad match or adding new keywords recommendation, because smart bidding, even though it with the broad match or adding new keywords, you're expanding your targeting, you're able to reach to additional set of users. What smart bidding ensures in those cases is that it only attracts traffic from relevant sources and those traffic that can actually generate the target that you have set through smart bidding. So if you have set a CPA target or if you have set a TROAS target, even though it will attract traffic from broader set of keyword, it will ensure that those targets are being respected. And hence the quality of your traffic and quality of people who are clicking on your ad will improve significantly. In the next few slides, we have tried to tell you why leverage the auto apply for smart bidding. Right now, so you may say, hey, you know what, I can apply smart bidding in my campaigns manually as well. How is this going to help me if I opt into it through auto apply? Now, first and foremost is obviously there is going to be a performance optimization. So by when you opt into auto apply for smart bidding, what you do is you ensure that the best possible bidding strategy at a certain point of time for a campaign is adopted in, which means if I have, say, for example, created a campaign for online sales and I have chosen, say, maximize conversion value, set target ROAS, adjust target ROAS, all of those as an auto apply. As soon as my campaign has enough conversion data, it will automatically put the campaign on maximize conversion value, right? And when it has enough data to set a target, it will automatically set that target for the campaign as well. Now, whenever there is a need to adjust my target in order to capture additional and incremental growth, it will make that adjustment on my behalf as well. So I'm always using the best possible target, and I'm also always using the best possible bid strategy for my campaign. And that way I'm able to have optimal performance for my campaign. And that also answers the second point, which is future proofing. I don't have to worry about any influx in traffic. I don't have to worry about changes in market dynamics. Those will all be taken care of because I've adopted into auto applying these recommendations. So they'll automatically be managed and applied to my account. Now, another benefit that you get by leveraging auto apply for smart bidding is that you have competitive advantage. Now, obviously, bidding is one of the areas where there is, most of the competitors win or lose among themselves, right? Now, if you opt into auto applying, what you're doing, and specifically when you not opt into it, what you're doing is that you're allowing your competitors to outrun you, right? So adopting into smart bidding will ensure that you are as set for future as your competitors who are already adopted into smart bidding. So that's another benefit that you get by applying smart bidding through auto apply. Similarly, we try to talk about target adjustment. I think I've already explained why auto applying smart bidding target adjustment is critical. And when I say smart bidding target adjustment, I'm talking specifically about adjust target ROAS and adjust target CPA. Because whenever there is a change in market dynamics that can influence how your campaign is performing, for example, there's higher demand or probably there is more providers in the market and your campaigns are not performing well, and it needs slight changes in its target. For example, your target ROAS may be reduced by a marginal value in order to ensure that your campaign capture additional demand which is being forecasted or which is actually happening due to change in market dynamics. So your campaign is more set for all such market dynamics changes, and your campaign still performs well even if those market dynamics changes, because you have adopted into auto applying target adjustment. And same happens with target ROAS and target CPA both. Another thing that you need to understand is that these recommendations are forward looking, which means the simulation engine is able to predict if there is going to be a sudden influx in demand for a particular type of product or services in near future. And it looks at the future and looks at possibility in future and accordingly adjust your targets in order to capture those demands during those sudden changes in demand. Now, why add broad match keywords or add new keywords automatically? So one, obviously your campaigns are able to use real-time signal and response to changes that is happening in user queries. I'm sure you must have heard this number before, but almost 15% of searches that happens on Google every day is net new. It has never been searched before. So there's a lot of new terms being searched on Google, and you're able to capture and you're able to run campaign on those new terms as well if you're using broad match keywords and if you're adding new keywords to your campaign. Also, when you club your broad match with smart bidding, as I said already, you're able to drive high performing queries or traffic from high performing queries only. And you also not anymore have to manage millions of variations of keywords among tens of ad groups under each campaign, because you are now using broad match, and broad match will take care of all the variants of your keywords, and you don't have to create tons of ad, or you don't have to add rather tons of keywords into each and every ad group. Now, there are some best practices that you must follow along with auto apply recommendations. So if you're applying these auto apply recommendations in your account, in your campaigns, you also have to ensure that you're following these best practices of Google Ads along with. And we'll talk about those on this slide. Now, the first one is that you should frequently review your measurement and privacy recommendations, right? Now, remember, most of the growth opportunities or growth recommendations rather falls under bidding strategy. Now, if you don't have a proper measurement infrastructure in place, and if your measurements are not working appropriately, you may not have the proper result of using those auto apply recommendations. So ensure that you're frequently reviewing your measurement and privacy recommendations in your recommendation tab. And if you see any recommendation there, act upon those as swiftly as possible so that your measurement is of top notch and you're able to capture all the conversions and conversion values properly, so that you can have you can use conversion or value based bidding strategy properly in your account. The next one is check that your conversion actions are set up properly. Now, in a lot of cases, we set up our conversion actions and there can be primarily two issues. Either the number of conversions or the conversion values that is being tracked is inflated or deflated, which means you're not capturing your conversion actions properly and the number of conversions is not appropriate. In those cases, your bidding strategy will not work properly because you're saying that, look, I've got 20 conversions in a day, whereas in actual you're getting 40 conversions. So your campaign is not able to optimize for the right value of conversion that the campaigns are generating. So ensure that your conversion actions are set up properly and you're tracking them properly, right? Do test these conversion actions by manually submitting forms, or if there is a online sales related conversion actions, in those cases completing a sales cycle and saying if that is being reflected in your conversion actions or not. So ensure that your conversion actions are set up properly. That's another best practices that we suggest you to use along with auto apply recommendation. Then you have ensure your brand campaigns are using an optimal bidding strategy. Now this is very supremely critical, which is if you have any branded campaign and if you're running any brand campaign, it's obvious that you run them on target impression share. Okay, so that's the most optimal bidding strategy for a branded campaign. When you run a brand campaign on target impression share, one, it gives a signal to Google Ads that, look, these are branded campaign, and those recommendations that are not supposed to be added and not used on a branded campaign should not be added there. So for example, if there's add new keywords, or if there is a recommendation of adding broad match keywords, those recommendations will not be added to a campaign that is running on target impression share. So that's the benefit, and hence it is critical that you use optimal bidding strategy for your brand campaign. Also ensure that you set accurate conversion values. So if you have multiple conversion actions and they have dynamic values, ensure that you're passing on right conversion values to all the conversion actions, and ensure that you set optimal budget and review budget recommendations frequently. So if you have campaigns that are running, ensure that you have provided them optimal budget to perform to its full potential. Otherwise, your campaigns will not be able to serve as intended. So ensure that you look at the budget recommendations frequently. And as I said, there can be multiple ways of dealing with it. The optimal and recommended way of working on budget recommendation is to opt into suggested budget for those campaigns. However, if that's a constraint and you're not able to do it, as I said, there are alternatives in order to solve for it. So take those alternatives to take care of your budget recommendation. What I'll do now is I'll quickly look at comments if there is any questions that we have. So Muhammad Sam says, how can I work? I'm not sure about your question, Muhammad, but if you can elaborate on that question, that will be helpful. There was a question from Atsane. I'll see if there's anything on YouTube live stream. Okay, I don't think there's any additional questions. So that was it. That's precisely our session today. What we suggest you as the next step is that visit your recommendations page and your look at your RSA ad assets very frequently, see if those are appropriately created or not, and apply those recommendations wherever they are helpful and useful for your account and campaign optimization. If you identify any of those auto recommendation that you have to apply frequently, plan auto apply for such recommendations. So those are some of the suggested next steps that we suggest you to take. And that brings us towards the end of the session today. What we have done here is we have kept a QR code form for you. So you can scan this QR code, and this will take you to a Google Ads Google form where you can share your feedback for the session today that we conducted, and tell us how you liked the session. It was nice having you all on the session. Special call out to BTW UK Limited and also BWT UK Limited, pardon me, and Eric for asking those wonderful questions. As I said, this session will stay as an on-demand video on Ads on Air, so you can go back and watch this video wherever and whenever you want. If you want to share it with your colleagues, you can do that as well. And if you have any questions, you can always come back to the landing page, to the Ads on Air page, and put your question there in the public chat that we have enabled, and we'll, as and when time permit, we'll get back to you with the response to those questions. It was lovely having you all on the call today. Have a good rest of the day.